Hello, y'all. Actually, I tried to do this earlier and it kept stalling out on me. It wouldn't let me broadcast there. So I changed the subject. But anyway, uh, about philosophy. Uh, Philosophy of Seneca, the younger, uh, Lucius Aeneas Seneca. I'm not going to screen share because it messes with my sound. Uh, I'm reading from the wiki. He was a Roman Stoic philosopher, statesman, dramatist, and in one work, satirist of the Silver Age of Latin literature. He was born in Cordoba in Hispania and raised in Rome, where he was trained in rhetoric and philosophy. He was a tutor and later advisor to Emperor Nero. He was forced to take his own life for alleged for alleged complicity in the Pisonian conspiracy to assassinate Nero, in which he was likely to have been innocent. His father was Seneca the Elder. His elder brother was Lucius Junius Gallio Ananias. How do you say it? Sorry. And his nephew was the poet Lucan. His stoic and calm suicide has become the subject of numerous paintings. As a writer, Seneca is known for his philosophical works and for his plays, which are all tragedies. His philosophical writings include a dozen philosophical essays and 124 letters dealing with moral issues. As a tragedian, he is best known for his Medea and Thyestes. I think I'm saying that right. Anyway, uh, get a little history on him. His father was Lucius Aeneas Seneca the Elder, a Spanish-born Roman knight who had gained fame as a writer and teacher of rhetoric in Rome. His mother, Helvia, was from a prominent Batician family, Baetician. Second of three brothers. I'm going to tell all of that. And it also says in the biography here, the evidence for Seneca's life before his exile in 41 is so slight, and the potential interest of these years for social history, as well as excuse me, as well as for biography, is so great that few writers on Seneca have resisted the temptation to eke out knowledge with imagination. He was taken to Rome in the arms of his aunt at a young age, about 5 probably, it says. His father resided for much of his life there in the city. He was taught the usual subjects, literature, grammar, rhetoric, as part of the standard education of high-born Romans. Sounds familiar, hey? Here? Rome never fell. Anyway, that's just a little bit on him, and I'm going to leave the links below. This is Moral Letters to Lucilius, letter 6 from Wikisource. Some stuff he wrote here. Moral Letters to Lucilius. Anyway, y'all can read that if you want there. And here is some of the stuff I wanted to talk about there as well. Seneca's timeless lessons on friendship, philosophy, and self-awareness. I talk about that a lot, self-awareness, conscious awareness, if you will. Roman Stoicism, by contrast, was a practical discipline, not an abstract system of thought, but an attitude to life. This was what Gregory Hayes says in the Introduction to Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. In addition to reading Aurelius's profound moving journal, which wasn't meant for publication, comes another classic that focuses on the letters written by Lucius Aeneas Seneca, statesman, Roman philosopher, tutor, and advisor to Nero. And look what happened. They made him kill himself. Anyway. I'm just reading some quotes here. It says, the Stoics saw the world as a single great community in which all men are brothers and women, all mankind. ruled by a supreme providence which could be spoken of, almost according to choice or context, under a variety of names or descriptions, including the divine reason, creative reason, nature, the spirit or purpose of the universe, destiny, a personal God, even by way of concession to traditional religion, the gods. It is man's duty to live in conformity with the divine will, and this means, firstly, bringing his life into line with nature's laws, and secondly, resigning himself completely and uncomplainingly to whatever fate may send him. Only by living thus, and not setting too high a value on things which can and at any moment be taken away from him, can he discover that true unshakable peace and contentment to which ambition, luxury, and above all avarice are among the greatest obstacles. Um, what it's saying, uh, any of these things can be taken away from you at any time. Is what it's saying. Uh, so it can be gone in a blink. So here we go. This was the percent. What it says before I read this part that I read there. It says first, it's important to understand the perspective of Roman Stoicism and why it serves as a fruitful system to help you overcome obstacles and to focus on what truly matters. Living with according to nature, how nature intended us to live, not how they intend us to live. They have us setting value on, oh God, I gotta get the new iPhone, gotta get the new this, that. We all get sucked into this. It's but this is something we all could learn a lot from, and how to reprogram ourselves, if you will, into this way of thinking. It's a single great community. Like I said before, the connected consciousness. It's basic natural laws. You're born, you live, and you die. And everything's in between. So don't. I'm not gonna say don't. Be sure you are valuing the right things, and not these material things that they tell you should highly value. Anyway, and this is what the person's saying that wrote this. It says Seneca's tremendous faith in philosophy as a mistress was grounded on a belief that her end was the practical one of curing souls, of bringing peace and order to the feverish minds of men pursuing the wrong aims in life. Like I just said, curing souls. I mean, look at how we having to live. We're, like I said in a show or video a while back about how we live our society the way it is, in how people are so unhappy, living that way, and that's why the suicide rate's so high and stuff. But that suicide rate's always been high, But when they force people, when they get to where they're forcing people, more and more people into these mega cities, it's gonna be worse. And then that's what they want. They want people to get depressed and shit. It's less people they have to deal with. Yeah, like it said, don't hold too much value on these material things that are unimportant, things like say things you that are beyond your control. You focus on that and these material shit, and what have you got left when that shit's gone? Nothing. But if even that. Anyway, on philosophy. It's not an philosophy is not an occupation of a popular nature, nor is it pursued for the sake of self-advertisement. Its concern is not with words, but with facts. It is not carried on with the object of passing the day in an entertaining sort of way and taking the boredom out of leisure. It molds and builds the personality, orders one's life, regulates one's conduct, shows one what one should do and what one should leave undone. Like I just said, sits at the helm and keeps one on the correct course as one is tossed about in perilous seas. Without it, no one can lead a life free of fear or worry. Every hour of the day, countless situations arise that call for advice, and for that advice, we have to look to philosophy. Like it says, I had said, knowing when one should leave things undone, that's like I said, things beyond your control. But they nothing you do is going to affect, say, something that's freaking happening across the world, or you can make people aware of it, yes, but anything you do, your actions, things, you know what I'm saying here. Something like that is things that should be left undone, because it's not affecting your life. It's affecting their life, yes, that it's happening to, but worry about what's happening with your life, in your community, your friends, your family, loved ones, things that are affecting your. That's what it's saying there. This is just my interpretation of it. And then here on friendship, he says, but if you are looking on anyone as a friend when you do not trust him as you trust yourself, you are making a grave mistake and have failed to grasp sufficiently the full force of true friendship. Certainly you have discussed everything with a friend, but before you do so, discuss in your mind the man himself. After friendship is formed, you must trust, but before that, you must judge. Those people who, contrary to advice, judge a man after they have made him their friend instead of the other way around, certainly put the cart before the horse. Think for a long time whether or not you should admit a given person to your friendship, but when you've decided to do so, welcome him heart and soul and speak as unreservedly with him as you would with yourself. You should, I need hardly say, live in such a way that there is nothing which you could not as easily tell your enemy as keep to yourself. But seeing that certain matters do arise on which convention decrees silence, the things you should share with your friend are all your worries and deliberations. And they're about the judging. I don't agree with the judging there. You should, only you are worthy to judge yourself. That's the only problem I have with that there. But yeah, the rest of it, yes. Trust is the key there. Like it said there, I ain't got to even say any more on that except about the judging, And a few letters later, this is from letters he's wrote. A few letters later, he talks more about friendship and the very essence of why some friendships end up in a disaster. This is all too relevant in today's culture, where most friendships aren't actually friendships, but business deals in disguise. And he says, anyone thinking of his own interests and seeking out friendship with this in view is making a great mistake. Things will end as they began. He has secured a friend who is going to come to his aid if captivity threatens. At the first clank of a chain, that friend will disappear. These are what are commonly called fair weather friendships. Only around when it's convenient. You know what I'm saying? A person adopted as a friend for the sake of his usefulness will be cultivated only for so long as he is useful. This explains the crowds of friends that clusters about successful men and the only atmosphere about the ruined. Their friends running away when it comes to the testing point. It explains the countless scandalous instances of people deserting or betraying others out of fear for themselves. The ending inevitably matches the beginning. A person who starts being friends with you because it pays him because it pays him will similarly cease to be friends because it pays him to do so. Pretty straightforward there with that. They're only your friend because they have something you need, want, and then when you don't know use anymore, that's what it's saying about that type of friendships. Self-awareness, learning, and stealing from your heroes. Seneca on being self-critical and self-aware. Naturally, there are a lot of things about me requiring to be built up or fined down or eliminated. Even this, the fact that it perceives the failings it was unaware of in itself before, is evidence of change for the better in one's character. In the case of some sick people, it is a matter for congratulation when they when they come to realize for themselves that they are sick. Uh, and this is a letter he sent to his friend Lucilius. You can't imagine how much of an alteration I see each day bringing about in me. Send me, too, you will be saying, the things you found so effectual. Indeed, I desire to transfer every one of them to you. Part of joy in learning is that it puts me in the position to teach. Nothing, however outstanding and however helpful, will ever give me any pleasure if the knowledge is to be for my benefit alone. If wisdom were offered me on the one condition that I should keep it shut away and not divulge it to anyone, I should reject it. There is no enjoying the possession of anything valuable unless one has someone to share it with. And that's where I'm going to end this. There's a couple of more things I'll leave below as well. But about the self-awareness, learning, and stealing from your heroes. Naturally, like it said, being more, critical of yourself. I always am, and that's something still need to we work on every day, being more critical of our own self and not of others. Like I said, judging, only you are fit to judge yourself on your own actions or wording. You know what I'm saying. Blech. And then here, well, I'll read this. This is a quote I'll read. It says, "Friendship is unnecessary," C.S. Lewis wrote. Like philosophy, like art, like the universe itself, it has no survival value, but I disagree with that. Rather, it's one of those things which gives value to survival, because there's tales about people being in these the concentration camps and stuff, where if they didn't have these friends, they would have died. You're there to support each other and help each other. That's what I have wrong with that. And it does give value to survival, and it helps you as well, for support and stuff, Anyway, I'm gonna end that there. I'll leave all these links below. Take care. I love y'all, and see you. Remember, you have the power within you to change yourself, for the better there. Like he said, that's a good philosophy to live by there. Like I said, we have to work on ourselves every day. Your inner work. A lot of people don't do that. They rather go about judging others and things instead of looking at their own self. Anyway, y'all take care. I'll see y'all later. Bye bye. Peace.